And welcome to today's video. I'm going to plant my hyacinths and paperwhites, and I need a few extra vases and bowls to plant them in, so of course I'm going to the Goodwill. It wasn't hard to find this type of a bottle with a neck to it. Is pretty easy to find. They're not real actual hyacinth vases. Sometimes you can find those, but most of the time I just look for a bottle with a narrow opening, either to hold the long stems of the daffodil or paperwhites, or just the small neck to fit the bulb. So that's what I found. 69 cents is a good price for that, so I was well pleased with what I found there. I may try a compote bowl one of these days when I'm ready, but I'm not ready for that right now. Now, I did pick up a white pitcher there, but that didn't work for me. I noticed its handle was cracked, so I don't want that. Now, these have the narrow opening. I want to set the bulb right there on top, just letting the root end touch the water. So check these out. They nicely wrap them at the register. You don't have to worry. So all I've got to do is get them home safely without cracking them. And then I'm going to show you this neat little trick that I take the price tags off, because you know how those annoying stickers are on the glass. I'll show you how to take them off easily. Got my little containers here. Got them all lined up. And I am ready to take the price tags off. The easiest thing that I've seen to take the price tags off is to use some hand sanitizer. Any brand will do. I don't know what it is in them, but it works for me. I just put a little hand sanitizer on tag. Let it set for a little bit, and then I just dump it in a sink full of hot sudsy water, and that'll be clean. But that's what I'm going to do with these four, and then be ready. I think I got bargains. Okay, now I've got my bulbs ready to get planted. And the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to open my containers. I have mixed variety, so I don't really know which color that'll be. Each color will be a surprise, but I'm going to keep them separated. I'm not real sure that I could tell the difference in the bulbs just visually. So now some of these may or may not be viable, It just depends on exactly the shape they're in, but we're gonna try. I got these for half price, but that was last fall. Now the Paperwhites, half price, and you can see how they're budding up. I'm sorry, sprouting up just a little bit, but we're gonna get those all planted and see what we can have in a few weeks. Okay, now there's my bulbs. Now, let me get my bud vases. Now, I have my vases put out, and this wider necked one, I have filled this one full of stones because I plan to put hopefully 3, possibly 4 if they'll fit, to balance on the top of the stones. But these, I think they will fit right there in the neck of the pot. This one is kind of iffy because he's big, he's kind of, I don't know, a little bit small, narrow necked. But all we need to do here now is just fill them up with water. And we're just going to have enough water to kind of touch the root zone. And of course you may have to fill a little bit here and there as it evaporates. But let me see now. Now my bulbs, I'm just going to use the ones that have tried to sprout, because I'm thinking those may be the ones that are most likely. I can see that's just barely starting to touch. So I'm going to put a tiny little bit more in here. Oops. There. Oh, way too much. Way too much. That tiny little bit made a huge difference. Okay, let's try that. Oh, that's better. Okay, and then the same for this one. Let me see. This one has a good sprout to it. It looks like it may sink way down in there. Oh, he does. So let's just pour off just enough. Okay, just barely touching that root base, just barely touching. Sorry, I have tilted to get the camera angle correct. But now this one, the more narrow necked one, let me see, where's a good sprout? Here's a sprout on this one. It looks like he's just barely going to fit in the top. So that should be just right for him. Now, those 3 are ready. Now let me find 3 that already have a sprout. Oops, it's not going to fit. Get the smaller one. Nope, that's not going to work. I guess I can either do on just one, even though that's a little bit high for him. Let me do one of these. This one doesn't have much of a sprout to it, but I will try. I'll just try him. Does he need any more rock? I have a little more stone. So I think I'm going to put a little more stone in him, just to keep him a little bit high. There. Now we're going to try that for our sprouts for the hyacinths. And I think this should work very well. Now these, I'm going to put these in a pot. But just to keep this video a little bit shorter, I'll do that off camera. And now the Paperwhites. Okay, now I'm ready with the Paperwhites, and I have kind of a bowl shaped here that I can put stones in, and then this is the one you see in the video, the kind of scooped out urn-like one. Almost looks like an old spittoon, but I have those. And then these bags of stone you can pick up at the dollar store. This bag is $1 at the dollar store, and they have the marbles too. Now I've used most of this bag already, but the bags of marbles are only $1 too. Well, I call them marbles. They're really kind of a flattened marble to use as decorative stone. So that's what I'm going to be using here, and I want to try to get as many in as I can. So let me get that mixed. Here we go. Here are my Paperwhite bulbs. And I'm going to put these down inside and they're going to behave exactly the same way. We just put the level of the water up just to touch the bottom surface. And these little sprouts will grow up and try to turn to point upward. I've got one more left. Can I squeeze in one more? I think I can. Okay, that looks good. That's all on the Paperwhites. Now, these two just need enough to touch the bottom, just like the others. Okay, and then here, let me straighten him up, because that's the end you want down into the water. Now, there is some kind of magic formula that if you don't want there to be floppy stems, you can put alcohol. When you freshen it up, you can put alcohol in that water, or basically when you need to add water, you add it in a proportionate amount of alcohol. And I'll put that proportion here on the screen. I found that information in various sources on the internet, but these should be turning upright, turning a little green. They've been in the cold and in the dark, and now they need to be straightened up just by the light. So hopefully those will get straightened up real quickly, and I've got perfect bulbs. Okay, here is my display set up under the lights so that I can direct the bulb to be growing how I want it to grow. And, oh, where'd my other one go? There's one, there's two, and there's three. Okay. And then the others are here on this other shelf. The hyacinth and then the 2 Paperwhites. I think they're looking really, really good. Now this is just after I planted, and so I'm just going to wait to see when something happens with these. Now, just as a little added something, I think I want to put a sprig or 2 of a cutting to sprout in there along with everything else. How about that? Now I took some cuttings from the Wandering Jew I've got over here in a pot, and I've cleaned the bottoms and put them down inside the pot so that I can also have some cuttings rooting, and maybe that'll give them a nice little bed, especially if it turns out to be a lavender or even the pink. I think that color combination would go really nice. So I think I'm going to like that, and I'll keep you updated how that turns out. But I think this is going to be really cute. Now those leftover bulbs, I am testing them out to see if they seem like they'll sprout or they'll be viable. So I've got several in a low dish with some lava rock, and then a couple in some smaller dishes. And we'll see if those look like they'll live, because some of them look like they're just more the worse for wear. But if they live, look at all the hyacinths they'll have. Whoa. Can't wait to have that scent in the house.